Hello and welcome back to the Private Label Masters YouTube channel. My name is Tim. I'm a top Amazon private label seller. Every single 30 days, I sell approximately $1 million on Amazon.com. My own private label products with 0 partners and just a few virtual assistants. So if you're interested in learning more about that, make sure to subscribe, make sure to hit that like button and that notification bell. And stay tuned to the very end of this video because I'm going to be giving out one free Private Label Masters course, and at the very end of the video, I'll show you the few simple steps to be eligible to enter that. Alright, so what are we going to talk about today? I wanted to bring to your attention a recent survey that Gallup did. Alright, they surveyed over 150,000 people worldwide. And the purpose of this survey or poll was to find out who enjoyed their work or their job. Notice the interesting results. Of all the people surveyed, only 15% said they were actively engaged at their job. Meaning they were looking forward to going to work, they were actively engaged in the workplace, and were excited about it. 67% of the people polled said they were not engaged in the workplace. In essence, they were just going through the motions, basically sleepwalking at work. And 18% said they were actively disengaged in the workplace, which means they completely dreaded their job, all right? So when we take a step back, that is 85% of people worldwide do not enjoy what they do for work. Where do you fit in this poll if you were to take it? Would you say you were one who is actively engaged and you enjoy it? One who is not engaged, just kind of going through the motions? Or part of that group who were actively disengaged and could not stand their employment? Now, whichever one you fall into, right? Fast forward 25 to 30 years of staying in that same job. How does the future look? Are you one of those who fell into the ones who were actively engaged and loved their job? If so, congratulations, you have found something that you love to do. And as we can see by these results, it's not the common thing to find. Now, if you fell into that 85 percentile who did not enjoy their work, and you fast forwarded 25, 30 years, it can kind of look pretty bleak, doesn't it? You can see why so many people are unhappy. Notice what the Gallup poll also said, and see if this rings true for you. It says people spend a substantial part of their lives working. As a result, the quality of their workplace experience is inevitably reflected in the quality of their lives. Now you may wonder, why did I bring this up, man? Tim, this sounds pretty depressing. Why would you ruin my day like this? Now, I've read this quote before on this channel, and I want to read it again. Here's what it says. It says, choose a job you love, and you will never have to work a day in your life. If you fall into that 85 percentile, you definitely feel like you're working, don't you? And you come home probably beat up, tired, and wish you didn't have to go back there again. Now, I think of my life as an Amazon seller, and it doesn't even feel like I work. It almost feels like I'm playing a video game that's reality. I'm bringing new products in that I'm excited about, doing research, bringing them to market. I'm launching them on the marketplace on Amazon, and it's almost like getting new high scores and then rinse and repeating the process. There's a lot of creativity involved, organizational skills. You meet crazy people all over the world, crazy in a good way, and it's exciting. Now here's what a typical day in my life looks like. I'll take today for example. I woke up right around 8:30, 9 a.m. Just couldn't sleep anymore. If I wanted to sleep longer, I could, but it's time to get up. I get up, I get some breakfast, right? I don't have some crazy morning routine like a lot of guys do. I get on the computer, I look on Skype, I check in with 2 of my assistants and to get a little updates on what's happening in the accounts, some shipping. I have 13 new products at Amazon. We're looking at uploading new pictures. I respond to a couple of their inquiries. I check out a few mandatory things that I need to within the business. I look on my phone to see where sales are at, the profit and loss tool to see where I'm at in the morning. By this time, it's approximately 12 o'clock, and I jump in the car, and it's time to go to a rolfing appointment. I mean, what's a rolfing appointment? I didn't know what it is either. Someone told me about it, and if massage is for relaxation, rolfing is like structural integration, and it works with the fascia. It's a 10 visit process. I'm on number 5. I said, hey, I'm gonna give it a shot, make my life better. Why not, right? It takes about an hour and 20 minutes. Let's do it. I leave the rolfing appointment, I come home, I get ready, I go to the gym. Today was back day at the gym. I'm there for a little over an hour and 15 minutes. At the end, I run a half mile before I go. I hit a Chipotle on the way back home to get some food. I sit down, check a few more things on the computer, see if any of those pictures have come in, make sure a couple keyword rankings are looking good. I'm testing out some new PPC software to automate a few things. And now it's time to make a YouTube video for you guys. So now that's kind of an average day. Some days, definitely I gotta stay and work a little bit longer or into the evenings when my suppliers come online, but it's relatively kind of like that. Now, it didn't happen overnight. You know, I used to fall into that 85 percentile. I was never actively disengaged because I always tried to be a hard worker and a good worker for my employer. But I wouldn't say I was actively engaged. I wasn't like excited about what the company was going to be doing. I wasn't like looking forward to, I can't wait to go to my job and do X, Y, and Z. I was like, I'm going to go there, I'm going to work really hard, and hopefully I can move up in the company. I realized it didn't really work that way. You had to put in X amount of hours. That's how you got raises, and based on seniority and all these other types of politics. But that was me in that 85 percentile, maybe like yourself. Now, did I just wake up one day and a light switch flipped and I'm saying, oh, I'm this successful Amazon seller? It doesn't happen for anybody like that, all right? It's a gradual, slow process of learning and executing and learning and executing until eventually you look in your rearview mirror, what do you see? That 9-to-5 job that you had. And you are glad to see it in the rearview mirror because you are done with it, right? Anybody who has a successful Amazon business did not get lucky. All right, you can get lucky on one product, but to have a sustainable business on Amazon, you're not going to get lucky. It takes knowledge and hard work and execution. So in order for you to transfer from that 85 percentile of people who are not actively engaged or do not enjoy their job into perhaps being a self-employed entrepreneur, actively engaged in your business, excited for it every single day, how do you bridge that gap? All right, how do you go from here over to here? Right? There's also a lot of feels like security over here. It's what you know, it's what everyone else does. But over here is calling you, and you know that saying would fit if you were over here, right? A job you love, you never work a day in your life. So how do you get there? All right? I'm going to tell you a few key tips that I think can help you if you're struggling with this right now. You need to do two things, all right? The first one is start saving some capital. Right, there's a lot of different ways you can save capital because this business requires money. And unfortunately, many people live paycheck to paycheck. That way, when an opportunity like this comes around, it's very difficult, right? You can't take advantage of this because you have no money. So start making better money choices, right? So that means spending less and, if possible, making more. So maybe a little overtime, some side hustle, whatever you can do. And maybe you don't have that big car payment and you drive around a car that's not the most flashy. Why? Because it takes work and planning to get over to where you want to be, right? Remember, we're thinking 30 years out. Where do you want to be? All right, I'm going to tell you the steps. So first off, you need to start saving capital. I recommend $3,000 to $6,000 to have a really good run at this, okay? The second thing you need to do is start taking in knowledge. Knowledge is power only when you use it, all right? So where do you get knowledge on this business? Well, I recommend, whether it's for myself or somebody else, find a credible mentor who knows the process, knows the path, and start learning, all right? You're not gonna be able to jump right into private label right when you get a course, okay? There's a learning curve. You're gonna need like 1 to 3 months to really find your way and then make an educated decision on a product, okay? So again, we need to, 1, start saving money, and 2, start getting knowledge so that when you have the money, you can then move in. Now, perhaps you already have the money. Great, you're already one step ahead than most, right? Then it's time to get the knowledge so that you can fast track, skip all the nonsense here or there, find out what actually works, and go for it, okay? So those are the 2 main things you need to do. But you know what? It's hard. It's hard to stop doing the same routine and to make a big change in your life. You got a lot of things working against you. Maybe you have a lot of responsibilities, maybe you have some debt, maybe you have some family who would think that it's crazy if you ever do something like this. And frankly, most people are tired. You know, when you get home from work, you are tired. You don't want to, be activating your brain. You just want to go and do the normal thing, turn on Netflix, grab a beer, just get some pizza and relax, right? And just let your brain decompress so that you can go to sleep and do it again. But it's at this point that you need to make the decision yourself that you're not going to do that anymore, right? And it can be difficult, right? Because routine and habits, they are deeply entrenched. In fact, everything we do during a day is a habit, right? It's based on a craving or something like that, a cue, you do it, and then you have a result, right? It's why we eat, it's why we sleep, it's why we decide to go here or there. It's usually an entrenched habit, and there's something, a reward that you're getting from it, right? So how do we go about breaking these bad habits, which may be like I come home and I just turn on the TV, or I wake up in the morning and I have time to take in some of this other knowledge to learn about building an Amazon business, but I'm busy like scrolling on Instagram or watching random YouTube videos. I'm going to give you a tip real quick that might help you be able to overcome these bad habits and then start working on those two things, right? If you have time that you're taking away from bad habits, you can actively, one, start saving or building more capital, or two, taking in the knowledge to eventually make a go of private label. Now, the tip I'm going to tell you that can possibly help you break some of these bad habits and start some new ones and get into a new routine, because some of those habits are deeply entrenched, is brought out in this book I've been reading, Atomic Habits, all right? Atomic Habits, an easy and proven way to build good habits and break bad ones. So bear with me for a moment as a little story time with Tim. I've done this in a couple other videos, but here's a very interesting point that I think you might like. It says the Japanese railway system is regarded as one of the best in the world. If you ever find yourself riding a train in Tokyo, you'll notice the conductors have a peculiar habit. As each operator runs the train, they proceed through a ritual of pointing at different objects and calling out commands. When the train approaches a signal, the operator will point at it and say, "Signal is green." As the train pulls into and out of each station, the operator will point at the speedometer and call out the exact speed. When it's time to leave, the operator will point at the timetable and state the time. Out on the platform, other employees are performing similar actions. Before each train departs, staff members will point along the edge of the platform and declare, "All clear." Every detail is identified, pointed out, and named aloud. This process is known as pointing and calling. It's a safety system designed to reduce mistakes. It seems silly, but it works incredibly well. Pointing and calling reduces errors by up to 85% and cuts accidents by 30%. Pointing and calling is so effective because it raises the level of awareness from a non-conscious habit to a more conscious level, because the train operators must use their eyes, hands, mouth, and ears. They are more likely to notice problems before something goes wrong. So how can this impact you? All right, that's interesting, right? Here's how it can impact you. Because these habits are so deeply entrenched of coming home, just turning on the TV, waking up, just getting on Instagram, we need to find a way to bring awareness that we're doing it. And here's how you can do it based on this point and call out method. It says the first step to changing bad habits is to be on the lookout for them. If you feel like you need extra help, then you can try pointing and calling in your own life. Say out loud the action that you're thinking of taking and what the outcome will be. If you want to cut back on your junk food habit, but notice yourself grabbing another cookie, say out loud, "I'm about to eat this cookie, but I don't need it. Eating it will cause me to gain weight and hurt my health." Hearing your bad habits spoken aloud makes the consequences seem more real. It adds weight to the action rather than letting yourself mindlessly slip into an old routine. So, practical. You wake up in the morning. You're about to go for your phone. Say it out loud. "I'm about to get on Instagram, and if I scroll on Instagram, I'm going to waste some time that can be used doing other things." You get home from work. You sit down unconsciously, grab the remote, say it out loud, point to it. "I'm about to turn on the TV and watch some TV, and it's just going to waste time and fill my head with nonsense. I'm going to use this time instead to go on the computer and take in some knowledge, or find a way that I can find a bill or something that I can get out of my budget so I can start saving more capital." You see? And then when you start doing good things, do the same thing. You sit down, you're going to start taking in some knowledge, maybe in someone's course or some type of training or reading a book. Point at it. "I'm about to read a book, and this book's going to help me overcome these bad habits and get to the future I want." I know that every single one of you guys want to be in that 15 percentile who really are actively engaged and love what they do. For me, that's Amazon. And for many of you probably watching, It could be Amazon too, right? That's why you're at this channel, because you're interested and you see the excitement that it would be, and bringing your own products, branding them, selling them. It's exciting. It starts with those two things, right? Saving capital and building the knowledge. And one of the things you have to really work on is those bad habits that are deeply ingrained. One thing you can do is the point and call method. It brings awareness to it. It brings the consequences to life, and you'll start noticing that you'll start making those changes. All these people, including myself, who have a large Amazon business that's sustainable, right? It didn't happen overnight. Each and every single one of us decided, you know what? Let's start this process. Of course, we had days where we didn't put enough time into it, or we spent money on things we probably shouldn't have. But overall, we were looking over here. Set yourself some goals too. You know, they say if you blindfold yourself or someone, you tell them to walk in a straight line, they walk in a circle. Every single one. If you tell someone to swim in a straight line, they ultimately will swim in a circle. Why? Because you need to have something to look at and something to go for, and that's how you go in a straight line. So if you want to be in that 15th percentile that really actively enjoys what they do for work, set that as a goal and start working on those two things, building capital and building that knowledge. Work on those bad habits, bring awareness to them by pointing, calling out, whatever method works for you. That's one thing that I'm working on, right? And next thing you know, little by little, you'll be where you want to be. You'll transition out of the actively disengaged to somewhat engaged to actively engaged. And then you can help other people too, all right? Now, I mentioned at the beginning of this video that I was gonna give away one free private label master's course where we have an amazing community of like-minded people all trying for that same goal of having their own Amazon business. And here's what you gotta do. Over the next 2 videos after this one, so 3 videos total, I need you to leave a comment and hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Now, in your comment, I want you to tell me, where did you fall in that poll? Are you the actively engaged? Are you the ones that are like, you know, sleepwalking, or you hate your job? And let me know, like, which one are you and what do you do for work? Like, if you're actively engaged and you love it, what do you do? I would really love to hear. And sometimes a lot of people are in these jobs that people think would be the greatest, yet they are disengaged and they don't want it. I have tons of people who join the Private Label Masters course and they have these degrees and these fancy jobs, but you know what they want to do? They want to sell on Amazon because it's exciting and they love the opportunity that it is, right? So again, leave a comment, let me know where you fell into that poll, right? Do you love your job? Is sleepwalking there, or you hate your job? All right, and stay tuned the next 2 videos, and we're gonna have 2 more comments on those, and then I'll pick a winner on the 4th video. All right, thanks for watching this video. I hope it brought some value to you guys. I'll see you in the next one.